Breaking on Reality Check tonight is our big exclusive on trying to trace where the Nirav Modi funds have gone. Now remember, the big question has been that 12,000 crores which the CBI alleges has been siphoned off by Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi. The end product of that, the end result of where it has gone, has remained unclear. Now NDTV has managed to trace one vital link that has seen the money travel from Mumbai to the United Arab Emirates to New York into the companies of Nirav Modi in America. It appears that embezzled taxpayers' money, the money that has been allegedly embezzled by Indian taxpayers, has been routed via the Emirates into Nirav Modi's US firms. Now, this is what the CBI has been saying. They say that Nirav Modi took LOUs of cash which he then passed on to firms in the United Arab Emirates. This is supposedly his suppliers in the United Arab Emirates. This has gone to companies like Tricolor Gems and Pacific Diamonds, which received this embezzled cash. But what we found is that these companies with dodgy antecedents have actually passed on the cash to one of Nirav Modi's firms in America, a firm called A. Jaffe, a company owned by Nirav Modi. This is a big legacy diamond firm in America, has received $6 million in cash from these quote-unquote ghost companies in the Middle East. Now, we're joined by my colleagues Manas Pratap Singh and Shruti Menon, who've helped us break this big story. Manas, now you looked at actually some of these companies like Tricolor, FZE, and like Pacific Diamonds based in the Middle East, which are supposed to have been the recipients of the PNB LOU cash. What did you find about them?
So Vasu, exactly as you said, these companies appear to be ghost companies because this firm called Tricolor FZE based in Sharjah had no website to start with. Then number two, when we tried calling their number, which was available on the public platform, that was switched off, while from a website called findthecompany.com, we found that $5,600 is what they earn in annual sales.
Just $5,600.
Yeah. Then number two, the company called Pacific Diamonds FZE. Again, the same thing, no website. While we tried calling them, here the number was available and it rung, but nobody picked up our calls to answer the questions we had to raise.
Okay, so two companies. Just to recap to our viewers, what exactly has happened here? The CBI has alleged that Nirav Modi and Mehul Choksi passed on crores of LOU money into these companies. Companies called Pacific Diamonds, company called Tricolor Gems based in Sharjah. Where that money subsequently went, nobody knows. These companies, as we just found, appear to be ghost or shell companies. But we found that both these companies are showing up in the books of a Nirav Modi firm in New York called A. Jaffe. A. Jaffe owes these companies $6 million. In other words, what $6 million has transmitted from these companies into A. Jaffe? Is it simply Indian taxpayer money? Shruti Menon also on this big story. Now, Shruti, tell us a little bit about how we came to this discovery.
Well, Vasu, we accessed the court filings of the three companies that you just spoke about, which filed for bankruptcy in the US last month. And Nirav Modi is a majority stakeholder in all these three companies.
Right.
Now, the smoking gun here is the company, the legacy jeweler, like you said, A. Jaffe.
Right.
What was listed out in those documents was a list of top 20 unsecured creditors, and of these top 20 unsecured creditors, what features on top are Tricolor FZE and Pacific Diamonds FZE, the two companies that Manas just told us about, quote unquote, the ghost companies which we could not trace. And A. Jaffe owes them $6 million, $3.3 million to Tricolor and $2.9 million to Pacific Diamonds, to be precise.
All right, okay. So that's how we came upon it. Manas and Shruti, thanks very much indeed. But essentially, what's happened, just to give a sense to our viewers, is that Nirav Modi's companies in the US have filed for bankruptcy. There are three companies. There's Firestar Diamonds, there's a company called Fantasy Inc., and there's a company called A. Jaffe. All these three companies have filed for bankruptcy, and they've actually got a stay from a bankruptcy court, which means that no creditor can actually now come and take the money. That includes the Indian banks and the Indian investigating agencies as well. So effectively, has that money, has the money of Indian taxpayers gone out of the hands of Indian agencies? Have they woken up too late? Were they even aware of the fact that he's both filed for bankruptcy, he's managed to get a stay, and is our government and our agencies, are they even aware of it? All right, I spoke a short while earlier to Vijay Agarwal. Now, Vijay Agarwal is Nirav Modi's lawyer, as we know, here in India, and I spoke to him just outside his offices in the afternoon, and I began by asking him that now that we are beginning to see that there's a possible link between Nirav Modi's bankruptcy filings and the fact that his US companies may have siphoned off cash. What do you have to say?
I am frog of a small well called criminal courts. So I only practice criminal courts. Other things I don't understand and I don't get into them. So whatever is being done in US, I am not privy to it. It is not on my advice. I am not looking after that aspect at all.
Okay, fine. But at least can you tell me that as far as the core allegation is concerned of siphoning off wealth, what do you make of that?
See, if the money was siphoned off, then why would 6,500 crore be recovered by the ED from here? Then the whole money would have been taken abroad. It is undoubtedly, this itself is CBI case and ED case that there are businesses abroad, there are showrooms abroad. So where is the question of siphoning? The businesses, the way the things are picked up from the showrooms here, showrooms are everywhere. So where is the question of siphoning?
But tell me, we just pointed out, we just found a link that money from a perhaps dodgy Middle Eastern firm has gone into a Nirav Modi company in New York. Isn't that proof?
My dear friend, I only deal with the evidences found by CBI as well as ED. I don't deal with the evidences found out by you, my colleague.
Okay, tell me though, if everything is above board, why is Nirav Modi refusing to join the investigation?
He was abroad when he was called for the investigation, so there is no question of refusal. So the way things are happening here at fast pace, every day somebody is getting arrested. So let the charge sheet come, then we'll know what the stand should be.
Okay, well, let the charge sheet come, we'll know what the stand could be. Nirav Modi says that I am too busy with my business, I don't have time to join the investigation. But more and more evidence emerging of the possibility that funds could have been routed. M.K. Venu, senior journalist, one of the founders of The Wire, here with us. Thanks for being here. Professor Gaurav, Vallabh, spokesperson Congress, is here with us, as is Sunil Alag, independent marketing consultant, member FICCI. So, Venu, just looking at some of the findings of our investigation, it appears, and this is all based on bankruptcy filings in the US court, it appears that some of the money that seems to have been taken out using LOUs to these Middle Eastern firms may have actually wound up back with Nirav Modi's now bankrupt firms in America.
This is Vasu, from whatever your investigations have shown, your reporters are saying, this appears to be a playbook case, classic case of over-invoicing of your business.
Yes.
When you over-invoice, that's how you siphon.
Yes.
You're asking that lawyer whether money was siphoned out. You know, they bank money.
Right.
So what is worth $100 when you show it to be $200, you take that money out, and through these shady companies in Dubai, you then take it back and put it in your own companies there. That seems to be what has happened.
Okay, so that seems to be the modus operandi. Now, I just want to bring you in here.
And this is a standard practice, over-invoicing, not only by this business, all the Indian big businesses, they do over-invoicing.
Right. This is interesting though, because this involves your firm both in India and as well as your firms overseas. I just want to bring in Sunil Alag here. That Sunil Alag, now, you know, all of this is unfolding, as I said, at the backdrop of Nirav Modi's bankruptcy filings, which are going on in America. Now, it's very clear, just based on his own disclosures, that all the companies which are filing for bankruptcy are controlled by him in America. So it's not like the Indian businesses and the debt and the allegations on them, the American businesses are insulated from that. That's number one. Number two, we found, Sunil Alag, that these companies have about $113 million in annual sale, about $81 million in jewelry stock, 5 million in cash. So there is considerable amount of assets that the Indian government could have tried to recover from them if they wanted to. But unfortunately, we're not sure if India is even on the ball here. Are they aware that he's filed for bankruptcy? He's got a stay from, from a court there. All along, do you feel, Sunil Alagh, that we've been trying to play catch up here?
No, I think you're absolutely right. First and foremost, look, the American companies, when you file for bankruptcy,
yes,
the government takes over that company, and therefore all the creditors then fall into line in terms of priority, and they are paid, and with whatever is left. Okay, so the many people are then not paid at all, especially the unsecured creditors. First, the secured creditors are paid. That's standard practice all over the world.
Absolutely.
So what this gentleman has obviously done, that $6 million which you are saying went out, and what Venu is saying is over-invoicing, it's a question of not wanting to pay tax in India, that you over-invoice, take it out to a country where there is no tax, which is UAE.
Right.
So you save on tax because you're either a non-resident Indian or you're not a resident Indian. So to that extent, you are legally taking money out as a non-resident Indian, sending it off to America where you do business, and then now in a position knowing that everything is likely to be taken away from him, you file for bankruptcy.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right that the government of India, having got on to what was happening in Punjab National Bank, ultimately at the end of the day, maybe 40 crores means nothing. Your $6 million could be just the profit that he was making, and we'll have to find out whether he was avoiding tax or whether he was actually siphoning off money. All right, now that will be done.
Yes.
But the point remains, we are always catching up, and that's what's important, is that they should have anticipated that he's going to do that.
Yes,
and more American companies are going to get jammed out there when he files for bankruptcy than just the Indian companies.
Now, I just want to quickly
get
in. Can I get...
Venu, they are actually catching up all the time.
Right.
Now, just getting a stay doesn't mean that the government of India, all is lost as yet. A stay means the American courts will listen to what the Indian government has to say.
Yes.
And then and thanks to you, maybe the Indian government will wake up and move now.
Well, we journalists like to flatter, we journalists like to flatter ourselves, but I think, we shouldn't get too carried away. But Professor Gaurav Vallabh, the Congress has continuously tried to politicize this and pointed out that this is ineptitude by the government, perhaps even culpability. But the fact remains, and we keep coming back to this, that all of this has had its origins going back across governments. This could well have happened in your time.
Srinivasan, I had 2-3 points, and from day one we are saying that.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. Why don't government come with that when this particular all 293 LOUs were issued?
Yes.
Who were the people who had encased that? Because if they can encash that, we can find out by lifting the corporate wealth that who are the people. It's a classic case of tripping the money via India, and it is not something which can be designed in one day. You are over invoicing, buying the company which is encashing the LOU. You are behind those companies. You are getting back that money, and $100 artificial gem or artificial stone is sold as $1,000, and on books it is $1,000, and the money goes back.
Okay, Professor, we'll have to leave it here. But we have many more details on this big story, and thank you all so much for joining us. And for our viewers, we have many more details on this big exclusive. Keep watching NDTV, and we'll keep putting it out. Thank you so much for watching. That's it on Reality Check. Good night.